Today, I recommend a less famous one to you, but an extremely brain-burning, high-scoring, niche science fiction movie. Mr. Nobody. In order to understand this movie, I even got to the point where I was reading and taking notes. I never took things so seriously when I was in school, because the plot of this movie is really messed up. It can be said to be fragmented. You can't understand it without watching it more than 3 times. And it also involves string theory, the butterfly effect, parallel universes, and so on. Let's put it this way, it's a good movie, but the barrier to entry is too high. Before I begin, I have to give a friendly reminder, because the plot of this movie is really messy. This time I'll just tell it according to the sorted-out storyline. I suggest you watch the original film first, and then watch the explanation. The effect will be better. Anyway, there is only one purpose, to let everyone thoroughly understand the movie. To understand this movie, we must first understand 3 theories: the superstitious behavior of pigeons, the butterfly effect, and string theory. These 3 theories underpin the entire film. They are very important. Let's go through them one by one. The superstitious behavior of pigeons. This theory is particularly interesting. Behavioral psychologist Skinner, in order to study why humans have superstitious behavior, did an experiment with pigeons. He put a pigeon in a box and placed a switch inside. As soon as the pigeon touched the switch, a door with food would open. Over time, the pigeon understood that it could touch the switch to open the door and eat food. It was a clear cause-and-effect relationship, but if the condition for opening the door was changed to opening automatically every 20 seconds, the pigeons would become superstitious. For example, when the door automatically opened, the pigeon happened to be flapping its wings. It would then think that flapping its wings could open the door, and flap its wings like crazy within those 20 seconds. Until the door opened automatically. Or when the door opened automatically, the pigeon happened to be shaking its head. Then it would shake its head like crazy, until the door opened again. Did you notice? This pigeon's behavior was not causally related to getting food, but it still repeated the action, as if doing so could open the door and get food. The pigeons became superstitious. Next, let's talk about the butterfly effect. The theory is that under initial conditions, a tiny change can drive the long-term development of the entire system, causing a huge chain reaction. For example, if there is a butterfly in your backyard, and it flaps its wings, it may affect the surrounding air system, create a weak airflow, and this weak airflow can cause the air or other systems around it to undergo corresponding changes. Just like in the movie The Butterfly Effect, which is an almost perfect representation of this theory. Now let's talk about string theory. It's a branch of theoretical physics. This theory holds that the most basic unit of all matter is a tiny string of energy, kind of like a rubber band, as large as interstellar galaxies, and as small as elementary particles like electrons, protons, and quarks. All are composed of these strings of energy that occupy 2-dimensional spacetime. String theory also holds that our universe is a 9-dimensional space, plus the dimension of time. Before the Big Bang, these spaces and times were intertwined. After the Big Bang, 3 dimensions of space, length, width, and height, plus time began to evolve. But the other dimensions remain intertwined. And what this film explores is, if we live in a world where these 6 dimensions are still intertwined, how do we distinguish fiction from reality? We know that time has only one direction. It's impossible to go back. But if time could go backward, what would happen? Anyway, for now, string theory is the most promising candidate for unifying all fundamental particles in nature and the 4 forces of physics. We are not professionals, so I won't go into details here. Nemo's life. Now, let's see what this movie is really about. This movie tells the story of little Nemo. A life of love and hate. Why is it so hard to understand? Because his life was not a simple one. At countless crossroads, he made millions of different choices. Each choice led to a different life. Messy, right? Don't worry, it gets even messier. In the movie, it focuses on 4 stages of Nemo's life, when he was 9, 15, 34, and 117 years old. By the year 2092, 117-year-old Nemo is already the last person in the world who was not genetically modified, and who will die of natural old age. Everyone affectionately calls him the last mortal on Earth. The TV station broadcasts him live every day. People all over the world even vote on whether he should be allowed to die of old age, or be genetically modified to extend his life. But officials have no information on his true identity. To learn about Nemo's past, his attending physician uses an ancient method to awaken Nemo's confused memories. That method is hypnosis. And so, Nemo slowly remembers his complicated life. Before Nemo was born, all children lived in a place like heaven. They were omniscient, able to see their own future destinies. But just before they were reincarnated, an angel of oblivion would appear, touch the child's lips with a finger, and make them forget all future memories. But when it was Nemo's turn, the angel forgot him. So Nemo was born, with the ability to foresee the future. The beginning of fate, his parents meet. Before reincarnation, every child could choose parents. Nemo chose a pair of parents who looked compatible. Their meeting was a typical butterfly effect. In Japan, a butterfly flapped its wings. The air system was disturbed, the airflow gradually formed a wind. A leaf fell and landed right at Nemo's father's feet, causing him to slip and fall. At that moment, Nemo's future mother passed by. They met, fell in love, and became a couple. Thus Nemo was born. The choice at age 9, the real branching point of the story, came when Nemo was 9 years old. His parents divorced, and he had to make his first major life choice: go with his mother to Canada, or stay in England with his father. Different choices created completely different life paths. Choice 1, going to Canada with his mother. On this path, Nemo meets Anna. They share the purest love, but because of butterfly effects and missed chances, their love is constantly blocked. At 15, Anna invited Nemo to the beach, but Nemo was too shy to admit he couldn't swim, so he said, "I won't swim with a fool." This left Anna with a bad impression. From then on, they missed each other. Later, as an adult, Nemo met Anna again at the train station. He found she was already a mother of 3. He was full of regret, but nothing could be changed. In another timeline, Nemo bravely admitted he couldn't swim. Anna was touched by his honesty, and they quickly fell in love. But then, Nemo's mother and Anna's father remarried. Their love was forced apart. They promised to meet every weekend at a lighthouse. But fate intervened. Anna moved to New York. Nemo waited his whole life, but never saw her again. In one ending, Nemo became a pool cleaner, waiting in loneliness. In another, he finally met Anna again, but because of sudden rain, the phone number he had written down was washed away. They missed each other once more. All of this came from the butterfly effect. Nemo once bought a cheap pair of jeans, causing a factory in South America to close, affecting the climate in a chain reaction, eventually creating that sudden rainstorm. So the love in Anna's timeline was always mixed with fate's tricks. Choice 2, staying in England with his father. On this path, Nemo meets Elise and Jean. It branches into 4 different lives. Elise's path. Nemo loved Elise deeply, but Elise couldn't let go of her ex, and suffered from depression. In one version, Nemo married Elise, but the marriage was full of pain, and eventually broke apart. In another version, Elise died in a car accident. Nemo took her ashes to Mars, fulfilling his promise to go to Mars with her. Jean's path. By coincidence, Nemo married Jean, and became a millionaire. He had everything: mansion, pool, children. But he always felt life was empty. He gave all his property to Jean, carrying only a coin engraved with yes/no, leaving his life to chance. In the end, he became involved with gangsters and was killed in a bathroom. Choice 3, choosing neither. The film also hints at another possibility. 9-year-old Nemo didn't go with his mother, nor did he stay with his father, but walked alone on an unknown path. This life is not fully shown, but it represents the possibility of refusing to choose. The truth of old Nemo. Back to 117 years old. Under hypnosis, Nemo reveals a shocking idea: perhaps none of these lives ever really happened. They were just possibilities imagined by 9-year-old Nemo, before he made his choice at the crossroads. So Anna, Elise, Jean, maybe none of them truly existed. The real Nemo might just be a 9-year-old boy, standing by the train tracks, hesitating to choose. The ending. At 5:50 a.m. on February 12, 2092, Nemo faces his destined death. But at the moment he dies, the universe suddenly reverses time, and everything returns to the beginning. The film ends there. Summary. Mr. Nobody is a fragmented movie, and my commentary is also fragmented. Nemo's life has no real answer. Whether choosing or refusing to choose, there will always be regret. The director deliberately gives no ending, because life itself has no perfect choice. We are all just tiny specks of dust, floating in the vast universe.